you're going to be able to identify a shopper really quick, which is
probably the first sentence in the first call.
Literally. I mean, I know whenever I get a shopper, the first thing they say is, what is your rate or what is your fees?
What are your rate? Yeah, what's your rate? What's your fees?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same thing with you as an agent. What's your commission?
What's your commission?
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Brock Lassick, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together, we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth.
Alrighty, well, welcome back. We're at part 2 of our Match and Mirror series. Last time we talked about buyers, we had Brock here. We swapped out Brock for Ryan. Now we're talking about sellers. So for any of you agents watching, the way we kind of kicked off last time was Brock and I uncovered a couple of months, or I guess a couple of weeks ago, that we were running a single play. We didn't have a playbook. And I think in this market, it's important to have multiple plays you can run depending on the client type, because so many different personalities, and you want to make sure you're making the most of it, every single opportunity you have as a real estate agent, to make sure that you're servicing the client in the best way possible. But before we dive into this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We come out with an episode once per week, and it really helps our channel grow. You want to dive into it?
Yeah. So novice, we're just describing the novice, right?
Yeah.
Starting there. So a few things a novice might say: we've never sold a home before. We're not sure what it's worth. We don't know how the process works anymore. They're just very confused.
Yeah.
They don't really know what the first step is.
Yeah. This is probably someone this is their first time selling. They've seen the buy side of the transaction. Yeah. But odds are it's probably been at least 2 to 5 years minimum that the last time they've even seen a real estate transaction. So they've definitely forgot how the process goes. So what they need is guidance and simplicity. Don't be giving them too much information at once. Keep it really simple. Give them a roadmap on what the process looks like. You got to help them set realistic expectations up front. That way, and this is going to be market dependent, right? Like in this market right now, let them know that what you list at is probably not going to be what they get offers at, or there's going to be seller concessions that are attached to it. That way there's not going to be surprises later on in the process. And then confidence that they won't miss something critical in the process, that you're going to take care of them soup to nuts from the very start all the way to the end, and you're going to hold their hand. Anything else you want to add to that?
No. I would just point out that most of the time these people are also looking to buy, which adds more
another added element
situation, even though they might be familiar with buying, or obviously. Doing both at the same time is super chaotic.
Yeah.
So, breaking it down, not necessarily dumbing it down, but literally by milestones, like step by step. Here's what to expect. We're going to get the marketing done, get the pictures taken, prioritize the listing first, get that done. We'll set you up on home search next, so you can simultaneously start looking at properties, of course, after you've talked to a lender. Just be specific. Every little point in the transaction, highlight, and you probably should have some sort of flyer or something to go along with it that demonstrates the process.
Yeah. And I would say don't use jargon either, or industry-specific terms that only industry professionals will know. You've got to make it simple for them, even if it's outside of your normal day-to-day conversations, because you're probably talking with the real estate pros all day. You've got to make it super simple and digestible for them. Set a pricing strategy early based on data, not emotion. I think this is huge.
Yeah, well, and part of that comes with the actual homework, which, as you agents know, should be done before you even meet with them. Numbers don't lie. I mean, if you have the data of recent sales and you can actually support everything within your pricing, and honestly, even leveraging our tools, Ultimate Listing.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Get a pre-appraisal done, if that helps. Be really accurate on the list price, and then just make sure you set the expectation of, we'll start here. I think the price is right. I think you'll get showings here. And if not, every week we'll reanalyze and lower the price if we need, or host another open house, something along those lines.
Quick little plug for us. For those of you who don't know, we've got our Sell It Like the Builders tool, which is attached to our Ultimate Listing tool. Essentially what it is, in a quick 2-minute commercial, we will send out an appraiser out to the property for a desktop appraisal. They'll run comps, give you a legit appraisal that you can present to your clients. That way it's actually data driven and you can price the home accordingly. Not only that, we'll then get you numbers on a shared cost 2-1 buy down, where us as the lender will share the cost with your sellers for a 2-1 buy down if the buyers decide to go through cross-country mortgage for the mortgage, which definitely, number one, helps the sellers net more, but then also number two, gives the sellers certainty because they know what our work is like, at least you know as the referral partner, and you know you can trust that, and you know that the deal's actually going to get to the closing line, finish line, and they're going to get their funds. Let's see. And then last thing is, go ahead.
Help them emotionally detach from the home without rushing them. So, of course, you don't want to be over the top. And, I mean, again, it can be quickly overwhelming for a novice of any sector, I guess, in any transaction. So rushing them is not going to get you anywhere. But helping them emotionally detach, what that sounds like to me is maybe getting some things in boxes that are emotional attachments into the home, such as like paintings or, I guess, family pictures and things like that that are hung in the house. If they're committed to selling house and buying new, maybe have them take that down. And
this is almost like you can kill two birds with one stone, like during your declutter phase. I know a lot of agents have like a declutter phase where they advise their clients to take out all of the clutter to make it as simple as possible. That way, the potential buyers come in and can envision it as their home rather than.
Well, that's why I don't think staging, or I think staging is a good idea because it puts a impersonal touch to the house that actually complements the house itself.
Right.
So
the bones.
A buyer can come in and look at it completely unemotional and kind of get a more of a view on how they would decorate the house instead of seeing how the current owner has decorated it.
Yeah, no, I
so it's actually, agree. I mean, in a way, going to help you sell it quicker too.
Yeah.
Which, if you explain that to your seller, the novice, I'm sure they're going to like that.
And they're going to be on board for sure.
Does your home and auto insurance seem to go up every year without fail? Mine did too. I thought this was just the way the insurance industry worked until I found my friend Alan Johnson with American Family Insurance. After more than 15 years with the same insurance agent, he saved me over $3,000 per year when I switched. I refer all my family, friends, and clients to him, and their experience is similar. Great rates and a great experience. Call Alan for a free quote today at 801-708-2962.
Next one is the homeowner. This is someone that says, we've done this before. We just want a clean deal. We know the comps already. We'll move fast if the numbers make sense. Really, they want efficiency, not hand-holding. So I think these guys are more bullet pointed rather than paragraphs. Straight talk on timing and outcome. The thing with these people though is if you're going to say you're going to do something, you have to do it or else it doesn't look good and you could lose them as clients.
Yeah, because the reality is their first agent probably had some things to pick apart or maybe some broken promises from the prior agent.
For sure.
You know, so you're not going to have very much room for grace with the homeowner type client.
Oh, most definitely. And these guys like market data, but they want it like you're a friend, not a teacher. They don't want to be talked down to, or I shouldn't even say talked down to.
It's really just empowering them to make.
Yeah, they want to feel like they're making the decisions rather than you're making the decisions for them.
Right, dragging, holding their hand.
Yeah, any delay or disorganization, you'll immediately lose credibility with them. Like Ryan was saying earlier, they could have had a bad past experience, or they know the process a little bit more, so they tend to get a little more skittish if they sense that things aren't going.
Well, they can pick you apart a lot quicker too.
Yeah, they just know. They know.
Yeah,
they're gonna have that sixth sense. The shopper, what they say, you're gonna be able to identify a shopper really quick, which is
probably the first sentence in the first call.
Literally, I mean, I know whenever I get a shopper, the first thing they say is, what is your rate or what is your fees?
What are your rate? Yeah, what's your rate? What's your fees? It's going to be the same thing with you as an agent. What's your commission?
What's your commission? Which, if you're a good agent, you should be salivating at the mouth when you hear this because you know exactly what to say. You're scripted. you can't be so scripted to the point where they can see through that, but you should be practiced enough that you can handle these objections and get through
and
it.
You're confident in what you're charging. Couple other things they might mention. Another agent said they could get us more for less, maybe, or just more in general.
And more out of the sale.
And of course, admitting that they're interviewing multiple agents, which you may or may not get that right up front. I would just say if they're asking you the questions about how much they're charging you, just go ahead and assume that they're talking to probably multiple agents.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I think
that's good too. It's only going to make you more prepared as an agent. What they need, clarity on value, not personality. These guys don't care about your personality. You're not going to be able to be their friends or buddy sell throughout the whole thing. They're strictly there for the numbers and what value you provide. So this is where you need a really strong seller packet and seller presentation on what you're providing for them, the value you're bringing, and that's
why you're charging what you're charging, why it's fair.
Yep. They want to feel in control of the relationship. They want to be the one making decision. They don't want to be pushed by you in any certain way. Now, of course, you still need to follow up with them, but follow up with them on their terms.
Put the ball in their court.
Yeah.
Lay out your value, give your proposition, give them everything they need, the packet, listening consultation, and then probably just set a follow-up, like no pressure. Hey, let's plan on circling back with your guys' decisions in a couple days. Yeah. After you've talked to the other agents or however that looks for
These guys basically just want evidence, not emotion. They want to see, which honestly helps. Bring up your past transactions you've done and successes you've had.
Yeah,
it's always going to help.
For sure, that would help.
How to guide them. Don't chase. Be clear on your value and process. If you sound desperate, they will leave. They're going to go elsewhere because they want a true professional in their court. Use visuals and track record to show results. So, use any visuals you have in your track record. And if you don't have a track record, like if you're a newer agent, rely on your brokerage or your team.
Coach, team, brokerage, whatever.
Rely on their success. And that will help guide you through that whole transaction. Keep it business-like and let them know and let them make the next move. As long as you're professional and provide and show what your value is, that's the best you can do.
Yeah. Most of the time these people are just coming from a place of maybe they got ripped off in the past or something like that. They just don't want to get ripped off again.
It's coming from trauma.
So as long as you don't feel like you're ripping them off and you're actually demonstrating value, I think you have a good chance. Rule of thumb is, though, you're not going to win them all.
Yeah.
To say that. Shoppers, you do your best and hope that they go with you. If not,
yeah. We see that in our industry all the time.
Yeah.
We will pretty much, I would say 99% of the time, we are super competitive with any transaction we come across out the gate.
Yeah.
The 1% we're losing, it's the people that are...
Your equivalent in the real estate world is that company. It's like the 1% listing or something.
Yeah, or we'll list for $500. It's like
exactly.
Like they're just gonna do it for damn near free or lose money just to get the clout to stay afloat, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, oftentimes in those scenarios, the client has a terrible experience. Like they're basically doing everything on their own. Which can you blame the discount broker? That's the reason why they do it.
Yeah,
I'll fill out paperwork for you, but I'm not going to market it. I'll throw it on the MLS, but that's about it.
Yeah, and then good luck.
It's like you get what you pay for sure.
You're like, I might answer my phone.
So at some point, I think for advice, you got to just know when to cut ties.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, move on. Don't waste your time. But, of course, always do your best.
Yep. Last one is the skeptic. So these are the clients that will say, we've tried selling before and it didn't work. Agents just want a quick sale. We're not doing that again. We're not listing until we're 100% confident. So these are the people that have been burned in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Whether when they bought, it wasn't a pleasant experience, or they've tried selling before, maybe it wasn't listed correctly, maybe pricing wasn't where it needed to be, maybe photos. It could be a million different reasons as to why it didn't work.
Yeah.
I think your job with the skeptic is to figure out why it didn't work, but also figure out why they're feeling this way and be empathetic with them and give them reassurance that that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, a lot of why questions, for sure.
Yeah.
Why, and then reassurance, calm, structure, transparency. Don't hide anything. The minute that you come off sketchy, like you're holding things back, they're bailing quick.
Yeah, they want transparency through and through. Proof of process and follow through. These people love process. They want to be shown visually what your process looks like, and then seeing that you're sticking to the process through a series of steps.
Because it's hard to doubt that. And just showing them the process up front is probably not going to be enough. You have to show up on those first couple steps and follow through. Because, again, if you drop the ball, I mean.
Yeah, and I think it's constantly reminding them what the process looked like and tell them where you're at in the middle of that process too. That way they can always fall back on it, and it gives them reassurance that, okay, they gave me a literal plan and we're sticking to that plan.
Yeah, and set the right expectations too. What is it? Over or under promise, over deliver. Really is what you should strive for with these types of clients.
Yeah. Don't defend the industry. Stand apart with clarity, which I think is big. Like, you're on their team.
Yeah. It's not you versus them.
Yeah.
Realtors versus clients. It's not. Yeah.
And it's never going to end up good when you try to play it that way.
Right.
Outline your timeline and check-ins up front, which I think is pretty good.
I think we already touched on that. Yeah. I mean, lay it all out.
Yeah.
And then make sure you have
simple, like, weekly check-in. I know, like, you and I do weekly check-ins with our clients that are in escrow throughout the process, just because we want to make sure that they're feeling confident throughout the whole process, and there's no questions that popped up from Aunt Sally or Uncle Tom on the weekend.
Yep.
Put any doubt.
Which they come up.
I mean, that pretty much summarizes the Skeptic. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Hits it on the head.
Well, I hope this helps you guys. We'll have a cheat sheet on our website for this that you guys can pull. So if questions come up, hit us up. And again, as a reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like the podcast and video. We would really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.